It is Wednesday, the 5th day of March, 2025, and I am sure whatever dear leader said last night was akin to the sound of a dumpster being stuffed full of shit, made up of that rancid mix of liquids that makes sane people retch and bootlickers come in their pants. A 2-hour plus speech filled with shit to get stupid people distracted. Well, we're gonna get Greenland. You know how many direct flights from the United States there are to Greenland? One. One. When did that start? I would say about 2 months ago. So anybody who thinks it's just like some fucking random one-off thing that he's obsessed with Greenland, you're full of shit. He's obsessed with Greenland because his boy, Vlad Putin, wants Greenland. So that Russian ships can continue to sail unimpeded into parts of the world to drill for more oil. Terrific. Great. But, a lot of dumb people will be like, oh, who cares? It's just Greenland. Yeah, well, it's not how it works. Okay? But a 2-hour plus speech is too long for everyone except for fucking Adrian Brody, and both of them need to shut the fuck up. I could go on for way too long about all that is going on politically, but you know what this sad fact is? It's gonna change like by tomorrow. Something else will come up because that's just how it is. Get ready to start paying way too much for way too much. And then you'll fucking figure it out. But until then, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's already started. Like my mother, who's on a fixed income and on Medicare, like some of her medication is going up because the postal service supplemental insurance that she has is changing. Why? Well, I'll give you one reason. One guess, I should say. Anyways, that's enough of that. I'll get more fucking agitated. More agitated than I already am if I keep fixating on it, so I can't do it. But there's lots of other shit to talk about. Very little of it will be actually, discussed here. But I will have a deep dive on very important topics. John Cena, LeBron James, snack foods, YouTube, before getting into movie trailer reviews, voicemails, three gripes, all of that, and nothing of substance. On episode number 179 of Complaints and Observations.
Still, a voyage into the mundane and an exercise in futility. Swimming in the absurd while drowning in unearned self-importance. Entirely unworthy of your time. It is the world's worst podcast. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
All right, what's up? How are you? Good, I hope. I hope you're getting by. I hope you're okay, and I hope those around you are okay. Hope your parents are okay. If your parents are around, I hope they're okay. I hope everyone in your life is okay. However, if you have, in not all cases, but in some cases, if you have young children who could be into the greatness that is professional wrestling, they may not be okay. So what you need to do is just tell them that, you'll have to break the news to them that it's entirely scripted. But what you don't have to do is tell them that it's not fucking awesome. I haven't talked much about wrestling on this show, mainly because, I'm fairly certain that, the three people that listen to the program don't give a fuck. And for that, your loss, really. The longest running drama in the history of literally anything. Somebody asked me the other day, like, how long have you been watching wrestling? And I had to think about that. I'm like, fuck, wow. I mean, it's been probably 40 years, I would say, that I've been watching this shit. And there were some times in there where I wasn't as invested. But I mean, I've been a regular viewer of professional wrestling for 40 years. How fucking awesome slash pathetic is that? And it's like, if you met somebody who was like a huge Simpsons fan, right? And they said that they've watched like the vast majority of I don't know, how many fucking years are we on now with the Simpsons? 29, 30 plus? I don't know. Was that 1990? Pardon me. I have to Google. When did this start? 1989. 1989. That's 35 years. 36 years. All right. It's the same thing. Okay? If you met somebody who's been watching The Simpsons since December 17th, 1989, and probably even a little bit before that, because, the actual start was on the Tracy Ullman show, which I want to say was like 1987. So in my tiny brain, I'm equating the two, professional wrestling and The Simpsons, because they're both episodic, they're both scripted. Granted, one is animated, but not the point. You're missing my fucking overall point here, which is that it's just entertainment. Now, for the longest time, Vince McMahon tried to make it seem like, it was real. And I think that kind of, I don't want to say it ruined it, but it sort of set it off into like a different part of entertainment that stood to be mocked. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different than The Simpsons, however, very close in some regards. Now that I think about it, like 40 years might be a little. It could be like 42, 43. I mean, I'm going to be 47 years old next month, and it's you know, it, at least 4 or 5 years old is when I. So yeah, probably more than 40 years. But what happened this past Saturday at the Elimination Chamber live in Toronto, Canada? You had The Rock, big international superstar, very famous. Everybody knows who The Rock is. Part-time wrestler. Asking the current champion, Cody Rhodes, son of the great Dusty Rhodes, to be his champion, to bring back that old corporate champion angle that's been used at least twice. Once in WWE, and if I can recall correctly, once in WCW. So that was the angle. And so, the end of the show on Saturday was, The Rock comes out, Cody Rhodes comes out, and The Rock asks, "Hey, you're gonna be my champion?" And Cody basically, literally says, "Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself." Which was, if it was just that, That would have been huge. Because the thing that kills me is when they moved Raw to Netflix, Triple H, yeah, that's right, Triple H, who runs the whole fucking thing now, because Vince McMahon finally got outed as a douche. Like, if this is all new shit to you, then so that's why I'm talking in a sense that I'm trying to explain it as if it's information you don't have. He came out, Triple H came out and said, "Yeah, just because we're on Netflix, we're not gonna start cursing." Fucking less than 2 months later, not only do they start cursing, but he drops an f bomb. His champion drops a fucking f bomb on live television on the Peacock, live on the cock, professional wrestling. So it's like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. Whoa, John Cena's in the ring and he's freaking out, and he gives Cody a dap and then a hug, and then the camera looks at The Rock and he does the worst throat slash in the history of throat slashes. Like, what the fuck was he doing there with his two fingers and his like going all the way like he was the fucking Joker or something? Like, what the fuck was that? I haven't heard anybody mention that yet, but that was fucking terrible. Like, you use your thumb straight across the neck. That's it. Throat slash, cut it. And then Cena low blows him and starts beating the shit out of him. Now, here's the thing, right? I literally equate this to Hogan turning when he was in WCW. I think it's very similar. And the thing that kills me is like the number of people that have come out since. Oh well, you could read the signs. I need, and my buddy Jeff, bless his heart. Oh, I should have been able to read the signs. No, no, you couldn't, because nobody saw this coming. Nobody. And I'm convinced of that because it was shocking. You didn't expect it. John Cena, the man who hosted, I think he had 3 Make-A-Wish kids like before this event, goes out there and fucking turns heel. I need to know if those were like the last 2 Make-A-Wish kids that he was going to have for a while. Like, I need to know. Did the Make-A-Wish people know? Because I bet they did. I bet the Make-A-Wish people knew. Because how is he going to host kids now after he's turned on the champion and sided with the corporate rock? I mean, I'm sure he still could. Okay, I mean, let's not be dramatic here, David, but in the parlance of professional wrestling, that's going to be awfully difficult, right? So he's probably let a lot of fucking kids down, which really makes me wonder, like, what the thinking is behind it. And here's the other thing too, right? It was so well written. I have the utmost confidence that between now and when John Cena retires at the end of this year, which is the plan for him to retire at the end of this year and literally stop wrestling. Here's the problem with wrestling retirements. There is no wrestler. I shouldn't say no wrestler, but 75% of wrestlers, like, they don't retire. They just don't. Does that mean John Cena, like, will never wrestle again? I don't know. But for the next 9, 10 months, 9 months, however many months are in a fucking year, like, this is going to be. I'm fascinated with how they write this. I'm legitimately fascinated. And it makes for just incredible television. And if you can't see that, you're a damn fool. And I feel bad for you. The bandwagon is massive. and you are more than welcome to get on board. Because this is going to be fun for all of us fucking wrestling dorks. But man, that was fucking great. I enjoyed that, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this progresses. I'm also very much looking forward to seeing if he still hosts Make-A-Wish Kids. No offense to Make-A-Wish Kids, but I mean, wow. That's where I'll end this bit. Feeling sorry for Make-A-Wish Kids because they're not going to see John Cena, or they may not see John Cena. Not for all the other shit that's going on in your life. Just that. All right, listen, we're getting right into the voicemails. Reason being, my pal Mike, he called 4 times last week. Once on Wednesday, and then 3 times late Thursday afternoon. And so the first one, like the transcription on Google Voice, didn't come through, but the recording did. However, Mike, being a touch long-winded, left a 3-minute message, and then it cut off. Like he got to basically the highlight of the story, and then the call ended. And then I think he gave up because he then called at 11:22 to talk about uh, food, to touch on food, and then he called 2 more times for a grand total of, let's see, roughly 7 minutes of voicemail on Thursday. Oh man, it's great. All right, so here's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm going to play all 3 of these from last Thursday. I'm gonna play all 3 of them in order, right? And then I'll come back and try to touch on all of them as if it was one absurdly long call. Like this is great. I mean, honestly, this is the whole point of the voicemail line. 617-804-1557. If you know anybody who wants to fucking complain or just wants to ruin or pretend or think that they could ruin the show, give them the number, have them call in, leave a voicemail. But this is great. So, I mean, look, great to me. That's all that matters.
Hey Dave, Mike here. So I called yesterday and I guess I left like a long message and I don't even think my phone was on. It was refreshing to hear other people's voicemails. I kind of feel like a kinship to these guys, like, you know, like maybe I'm not the only weirdo around here. Anyways, I'm just going to leave 2 messages because I'm kind of worried that it's going to turn off, but because I really want to address this food thing. So the peanut butter cups and fortune cookies, this kind of stuff happens because there aren't any junk food in my house. There's no junk food. The kids will eat it instantly. So I got to get creative when I have cravings. I mean, it really started with the wheat thins, and the cake, and the cake frosting leftover. And then sometimes you got to get creative. I mean, they don't always work. I had the robin's eggs wrapped in pepperoni. That could go either way, but that really is a mouth explosion, possibly an explosion later. But the other one I just came up with was I eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. On wheat bread, so I'll do the chunky peanut butter and usually strawberry. But then lately I'll put a layer of Rice Krispies in the middle, and that gives a nice crunch. That's a real crunch. But also wanted to touch back on the T-shirts. Yeah, I mean, I think the real question is when did they get so expensive? I mean, I just remember them always being $15, $20. I mean, you mentioned concerts, they've always been expensive concerts, but like especially if you want to get like a Red Sox or any kind of license thing, it's 30, $40. So, coincidentally, I was in Kohl's. I shop out at Kohl's, and they're doing they have like their yellow tags, which is like the end of the end, pricing, but then they just said, everything yellow tag right now is half off. So I actually found some good t-shirts, random. I found a couple, Lionel Messi brand, like he's trying to be Jordan, I guess. $5 a piece. Super nice. An Adidas, and I actually found a Dragon Ball Z in double XL tall. So, I mean, that's good stuff. My wife hates it, but, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to call you back and I'll tell you about the Buffalo thing. Just get out of the way. Cause I really feel like I need to share it with you guys. Cause it's great. So anyways, I'm going to call back. All right. So I don't know if you know, I went to Syracuse, graduated in '03 with Carmelo. I actually almost hung out with him one time. That's a story for a different time. But my first fall there, I decided to go and join the rugby team. Try something new, meet some new people. I never played football or anything. Always, captain my tennis team and play baseball, yada, yada. So go for rugby. It's brutal because I'm a lock. So I'm the guy whose head is in between the outside of two other guys' thighs in the scrum. You got to wear the tape around your ears, and you just get beat up, and it's not that fun, It's like being a lineman or something. So, anyways, all the guys on the team, I mean, most of them were just fat, out of shape. It's like a frat. It was like a frat, So, they're all about the hazing. They're all about whatever. And the girls team was, very regimented. They're really good, all in shape. So the first match we had was in Buffalo. So we go out to Buffalo. It's a drive from Syracuse and play the game, get our asses kicked. These guys are freaking huge. I mean, just imagine, people who are big and in shape and jacked versus a bunch of fatzos. So afterwards they have the drink up. And what I didn't realize is that playing rugby, most of it is about the drinking. It's not really about the game. So it's an all day thing. I mean, we probably left at 8 a.m, played the game at noon or something, and then didn't get home from the drink up until, I don't know, 9 that night. So I'm okay with drinking, but come on, right? But anyways, so we're at the drink up or whatever, someone's backyard house, whatever, and they're doing the drinking out of the shoes, and they're doing the songs and this and that, having a good time, beer everywhere. It's with the girls too. And finally, a guy pulls me aside, like a couple, I think it was their captain, our captain, pulled me aside. Hey, you up for a gladiator match? Yeah, gladiator match, whatever, dude, All right. So he grabbed some other guy. And this guy looks like Roman Reigns. Like, who's that? Oh, you're going against that guy. I go, what is a gladiator match? He goes, well, you wearing tighty whities? I said, no, I haven't worn tighty whities since I was 6. He goes, okay, pulls another kid over, half my size. He goes, here, you wearing tighty whities? Yeah, so give me your tighty whities. I'm like, what? Before I know it, I'm wearing this other kid's size medium tighty whities. Pull me in the gladiator match. So by this time, it's too far gone to turn back. So I go in the back, put on this kid's tighty whities. I'm wasted, and get pulled into the middle of this, circle of, I don't know, 40 people, and the gladiator match is 2 guys facing each other. Each guy holds the size of the other one's tighty whities, and when they say go, first one to rip the other ones off wins. So they bring out this guy. He looks like Roman Reigns, massive jack dude, and I got to go against this guy. He looks like a Greco-Roman wrestler. So every girl on the girls team, every guy, they're all watching, and it's the raucous thing. And before I know it, it's 1, 2, 3, go, and I pull, and I could have sworn I won, but I guess he won by a thread. So the loser gets doused, everybody's beer. So now it's there's beer raining down on me, and I'm buck naked in front of 40 people. So, anyways, that's my one experience in Buffalo. Probably not as exciting as your trip, but hopefully you'll think of me when you're there, having a good time, and hopefully not nakedly doing a gladiator match. But you never know. So.
Wow. I mean, where to begin? Like, there's a lot to unpack in that damn near 7 minutes of voicemail. The best part is like after the second one, I don't think he realized like where he was in the story, and then tried to just pick right up with the third one. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. Like when well, I'm sure you could figure it out when you heard it. All right. Uh, First and foremost, like you're not the only weirdo. I mean, that's a given. I mean, anybody who takes any amount of time to listen to this shit is inherently strange. I mean, the fact that I do this is inherently strange, which makes me a weirdo. So you're certainly not alone there. The food stuff, it's funny because we've all like tried making like those weird combos, uh, but I don't think I've done it in a while, and don't even ask me what my weird combos were. And I know he had brought this up before. I don't remember. 'Cause I don't think my weird combos are going to be like as drastically strange as some of these that Mike has done. Like the wheat thins and frosting thing. Like I think I've done Ritz crackers and frosting. I don't think I've done wheat thins and frosting. So I mean, very similar. Um, but I mean, look, that's and I think part of the problem here with Mike is that when you have 3 children, they are absolutely going to eat your shit. So you do need to get creative. So it's almost like you have to MacGyver sweet shit because your kids are going to eat all the other crap, right? But robin's eggs and pepperoni, that's just fucking gross, dude. No. Out. Big time out. That's terrible. The PB and J's with Rice Krispies, I can see that, but I would imagine that like halfway through the sandwich, those Rice Krispies have now gone soft. So I don't know. But listen, the peanut butter cup and fortune cookie that I tried the other night at Mike's behest. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, I think it would be better if I had like an actual peanut butter cup because I had like, uh, Reese's Hearts or Reese's. I gotta stop calling it Reese's. Fucking hell, that's not it. Reese's, idiot. Yeah, Reese's Hearts. It was fine. It tasted like a Nutty Buddy, and like I didn't even really realize that. I knew it tasted like something, but I couldn't figure it out. And then like I gave some to my wife and she's like, "Oh, it tastes like a Nutty Buddy." I'm like, "Fuck, that's it." Fucking hell. So it was pretty good. Then Mike talked about t-shirts again. It's funny because like back when I worked with Mike, there were two Mikes. There was Mike who was like the boss, and then there was this Mike. And my wife, like, I can't remember what Mike's last name, the boss. I can't remember his fucking last name. But like, so my wife knew my boss Mike as Mike and then whatever his last name was, but she knew this Mike as T-shirt Mike because he had called during like the early days of the show and said he was having issues like with his T-shirt, like washing his T-shirts. That was one of his voicemails. It was probably one of the few episodes that my wife listened to. So he became known as T-shirt Mike. And now here he is again talking about T-shirts, which is just fascinating to me. Somewhat less fascinating and fairly obvious is that Mike shops at Kohl's because Kohl's, they cater to the freakishly tall. You ever been? You want to get a good look at a underserved portion of society? Go to the big and tall section at Kohl's. It's a fucking trip, dude. Yeah. Anyways, I totally forgot that Mike was a Syracuse guy. Totally forgot. Which is just funny. I find that somewhat humorous. I don't know why, because there's no specific reason. I just find it humorous. I did not know that he played rugby, because he doesn't strike me as a rugby guy. I also didn't know that he was the captain of his tennis team. There's just some things that you just don't know about a guy, right? And again, I've talked about this numerous times. Like Mike and I worked together for a couple years, but like we were both mostly remote. So, I didn't get to know Mike probably as well as I would have liked to. I've probably gone to know him better through voicemails of this dumb show than. It's funny. And I also didn't know that he played rugby at Syracuse. I'm guessing it's a club team of some kind. Who knows if they had like an actual NCAA sanctioned rugby team, and maybe they do by now, but because the sport is growing like a weed, trying to get into it. It's tough. I have a couple of old friends who play rugby. One who worked with me at my current job. He has since left, but he still plays. He's like 38. This kid is a mental case. Uh, but every single rugby player or someone who's like into rugby that I've met, they're incredibly nice people. However, Mike's 1,000 times right. 1,000 times right? Something like that. Mike's very accurate. Rugby is a drinking sport played by genuinely nice human beings, but they are mostly alcoholics. Mostly, not all, mostly. It's an English game, and drinking is vital to the game. Now, this gladiator match thing, no. No, I don't think I can get down with that. As a short, fat man with a tiny penis, that would not be for me. So, boy, that just doesn't sound like appealing. Even as a spectator, it doesn't really sound very good. So, yeah. I mean, I really hope that I don't go to Buffalo and think of Mike nakedly as the term that he used. Nakedly. It's a funny word. But yeah, you may have ruined Buffalo for me. So thanks for that. But yeah, I mean, in fairness, and no offense, I hope my trip to Buffalo is 10 times better than yours. 10 times.
Welcome to Regal Cinemas. Refreshments are available in the lobby. And please, keep our theater clean by disposing of trash in specified containers. And remember, gift certificates are available for any special occasion. Enjoy the show.
All right, I found a less than suitable replacement for the old movie trailer review theme song that I did, which I made when I was unemployed and had ample time. And the way things are going We might have more time this summer. Who the fuck knows? So I can redo movie trailer review shit. Yeah, all right. Hey, welcome back to movie trailer reviews. I love that intro because it sounds like going to the movies when I was in high school, which I did enjoy once upon a time. Going to the movies. Going to the movies isn't a problem. Sitting down at home watching a movie, too many distractions. Too many distractions, too much stress. Anyways, movie trailer number 1, The Accountant 2. I can hear the excitement over The Accountant 2. I didn't see The Accountant 1. Mainly because I can't get behind Ben Affleck in some sort of action drama where he plays what I think is an autistic accountant for criminals. Who comes up with this shit? 2 out of 10. Trailer number 2, Freaky Tales. Freaky Tales. This is another film starring Pedro Pascal, which furthers my point that the man never stops working. Think about it. The guy is in fucking everything. He is everywhere. He is omnipresent. Pedro Pascal. And his most famous role may be where he doesn't show his face, except for, once. It's fascinating. Like, it could be anybody. Yet, nope, he needs the work. Anyways, Freaky Tales. This is a period piece set in 1986 Oakland. And it's like I couldn't really get a good sense of what it's supposed to be about. I think it's like um I think the start of the movie is somebody, I don't know if it's present day or what, but they like look back on what Oakland used to be in the mid 80s. And apparently there's a key point and a key really character in the film. Is a one-time All-Star, former Rockets and Warriors legend Eric Sleepy Floyd. That's right, Sleepy Floyd. When I looked for new trailers and I saw the name Sleepy Floyd, I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? I was intrigued. And admittedly, that's what got me to click on it was Sleepy Floyd. Not Pedro Pascal, but Sleepy Floyd. There's a part in the trailer where the person playing Sleepy Floyd like swings a samurai sword at a dude. And then another guy in a separate room says, Floyd's out there slicing people up with a sword. What the fuck is that? The writing is great. I mean, all the dialogue in this trailer was very well done, including that line. But I mean, honestly, it colored me intrigued. And while, gratuitous violence simply for the sake of gratuitous violence is crude and uncouth, but when it's apparently from a guy who's on a 90-91 hoops card, I'm in. 8 out of 10. Would see it. Probably won't. And then trailer number 3, a documentary called Secret Mall Apartment. If you're not familiar with this, and look, you might not be familiar with any of the trailers that I'm discussing, nor do I even recall the format in which I discussed them previously. Worst podcast ever. Oh, world's worst podcast. See, I don't even know what the fuck. God. What a half-ass endeavor. Not even half. This is a quarter-ass endeavor. Secret Mall Apartment. All right. So the story is, it's a documentary about the Providence Place Mall. Now, if you are currently listening from the southeastern Massachusetts area, you are probably familiar with the Providence Place Mall because it is a short drive from these particular environs. If you're not listening in that part of the country, well, thank you. You might not know what the Providence Place Mall is. However, I can explain it to you. It is a behemoth of a mall, which came at really the end of like malls, right? It's still there, and it's still a behemoth. 3 levels, God knows how many fucking stores, God knows how many. I think it was like a 6-level parking garage. Just an absurd structure. Smack dab in the middle of Providence, Rhode Island, for those that don't know anything about geography. And so they had to, of course, demolish some smaller buildings, some old abandoned factories, some underutilized industrial buildings and whatnot to construct the mall. One of which apparently was housing some artist studios. And the artists, rightfully so, were very upset that their studios were being kicked out first by ownership, and then they were just being demolished. So they were upset. Well, apparently, a few of these rather industrious artistic folk decided that they were going to uh, try to get into the mall, and they noticed like some soft points during construction and post opening, where there was a portion of the mall that was not accessed ever. How they knew this, I don't know, because again, the trailer doesn't really explain how they figured this part out. But then they went about literally building a wall to cordon themselves off. The trailer does show them all bringing cinder blocks, something like into the mall in the back of their like Honda Accord. God knows how many cinder blocks were used to build this thing, and the whole time they're just in a panic that they're going to get caught, which rightfully so. From what I can gather, they managed to use this apartment or use this space for years. I don't recall specifically, but for some reason I want to say 7 years. I could be way wrong, and probably am. But the whole thing, like all the reviews were like, uh, this big sort of uh, anti-capitalist type thing. Like, all right, well, and then you sold the story to make a movie out of it. Like, it kind of flies in the face of your whole anti-capitalist sort of stance. But it seems interesting, and it also seems like the sort of thing that I could get into, like on a plane, or download and watch on a plane, and then like get annoyed by the people in the movie a half hour into it and just turn it off. It's like I don't really have a specific problem with artists, I guess as a whole. What I do have a problem is the ones that complain that they aren't, you know, given a fair shake for some reason, or that they're not, or that they feel somewhat entitled to be able to practice their art wherever they want. Things like that. That bothers me. Nobody's entitled to fucking anything. You got to work for what you have, and that includes, a secret apartment in a massive mall that you're trespassing on and committing a crime on. And that, they don't really get into like how it ended. Either they just decided to move on, or if they got caught. My assumption is they got caught, but yeah, I don't know. And so this was what, late '90s, early 2000s, roughly. So I mean, again, a bit of a period piece about Providence, Rhode Island in the late '90s, early aughts. That'd be somewhat interesting. So I'm moderately curious about Secret Mall Apartment. And I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Only because I'm intrigued yet kind of annoyed. And I don't know which way to lean. So if I do watch this, maybe I'll do like a full review if I do watch it. Don't hold your breath. Because who the fuck knows? All right, so last week I talked for roughly 90 minutes. This week I'm probably going to cut that in half. Why? I don't have time. Again, quarter-ass job here. But it's already time for the end of the show. And it's time for your favorite segment, Three Gripes. Gripe number one, airport security. So a lady was stung by a scorpion at Logan Airport the other day. Seriously, a woman was stung by a scorpion at Logan Airport. Now, none of the articles that I read said that where this happened. Basically, just said that somehow the scorpion was transported into the building at one point. And it's funny, right? If you've ever traveled overseas, you know that airport security, any place else on Earth, not any place, but most developed countries, like you cannot fucking get away with anything. Like you can't. That tiny pair of scissors you use to trim your beard with, fuck you, gone. The 3.2-ounce bottle of lotion that you use on your balls, fuck you, gone. With the underpaid and probably soon to be understaffed TSA, there's a bit that hasn't come up. They've already crushed the FAA, so it's just a matter of time before the TSA is equally fucked. That ought to end well, right? Fucking hell. Well, the guy at TSA who simply doesn't give a fuck because it took him 2.5 hours to get into the airport, which, yeah, no. And then once they get there, they only have to deal with, they got to fight with shitty people who've never flown before and can't comprehend that their belt buckle is probably going to set off the metal detector. So it really does need to be taken off. Like, he just doesn't care if a scorpion gets loose in a place where scorpions do not exist in the wild. Fuck it. The fuck does he care? It's just going to get worse for the foreseeable future before it gets any better. And that's basically fucking everything. So buckle up with that fucking belt you had to take off at Scaredy. Gripe number two, the Oscars, the yearly self-filleting nonsense has come and gone yet again. Most reasonable people don't give a fuck for more than 10 to 15 minutes, right? Oh, who won Best Actor? Oh, who won Best Actress? Oh, Culkin won an Oscar? Wow, that's something. That's a movie I actually want to see. That Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg movie. That actually looks pretty good. It also looks kind of sad. And because of that, I probably won't watch it. But, um, you know, do people really sit and watch this whole thing? There's no way. I happened to turn it on 8:40 p.m. on Sunday. 8:40, right? This is prime time. 8:40 on the East Coast. Prime time. And they're trotting out the award for best editing. The only person able to tell anyone on Monday who won the Oscar for best editing would be the actual person who won the Oscar for best editing. And that came up during prime time on the East Coast. It's too long. It's too fucking self-serving. It's annoying. And then when you get people like Adrian Brody, I don't know the guy, so I can't pass judgment. But I shouldn't even say that. I can pass judgment because apparently you took more than 5 minutes to give an acceptance speech. Because, you seem to think that every film that you do is like this world-changing thing. It's entertainment. That's it. Like, stop thinking that what you do is so vitally important that you need to stand up there on the dais for fucking over 5 minutes. Same goes for a 2-hour address of Congress. It's not needed. I've already said that. Right, number 3, Lifetime movies. How are these still a thing? Think about that. Like, Lifetime movies for the longest time was the random shit that you'd find now on, say, Netflix, right? Netflix or any of the subpar streaming services, the made for streaming films. But Lifetime is still churning these fucking things out. Who watches them? I'm fairly certain my mother-in-law watches some of them. But aside from that, who? 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 And then how hard would it be to write a modern day Lifetime movie? To like write a movie and submit it to Lifetime? How hard could that be? The other day, I'm kind of flipping through the guide on the cable, and it comes up Lifetime, and the movie that they're showing is Nobody Dumps My Daughter. And of course it has to do with like murder and revenge because that's the only thing people fucking care about anymore is death and murder, violence. What are we doing? That's so goddamn dull and predictable. Yet this one, Nobody Dumps My Daughter, is about a mom who's very upset at her daughter's ex-boyfriend because her daughter's probably a fucking cunt. And the boyfriend was like, I can't fucking deal with this. Like, you suck and your mom sucks too. So then she has to get her revenge. The mom has to get her revenge. This is just in the info button, see what this is about. I'm convinced that like the first all AI movie is going to be some shit like this on Lifetime, and it'll take a month before someone figures it out because of it's the same fucking garbage. Because it's not as if someone's doing a deep dive on the actors and actresses in Lifetime movies. Like, who the fuck cares? Nobody. Except for the people that fucking sit home and watch this shit. Somebody must be watching it because they keep fucking pumping it out. The fact that Lifetime still exists as an entity is insane to me. Lifetime. God. All right, that's it for the show. Short one. Hopefully I can get this out before noon, but I doubt it. So it'd probably be a late Wednesday release. Next Wednesday, fairly certain I have a doctor's appointment, so we could be delayed yet again. Yeah. Next Wednesday. At what time? 8:45. So I'm usually in here by then. Having a physical. So I'm gonna get a thumb in my ass. And it won't be mine. We'll talk about doctor's appointments maybe next time. So who knows what next week's show is gonna look like, who knows when it's gonna be done. Now I'm being forced to be in the office 3 days a week now, so that kind of fucking sucks ass. That kind of I mean, they wanted me to come in today on Wednesday. I'm like, no, like it's late shift day and podcast day. So I didn't tell them it's podcast day. They still don't know. We're gonna keep it that way. At least I don't think they do. If they do, I don't know anything about it, and so it's neither here nor there. I'm on Instagram at Complaints Pod, Threads at Complaints Pod. Oh, I forgot to talk about fucking YouTube. Shit. So apparently I'm on YouTube. Apparently the show, like the audio of the show, is downloaded to YouTube. And the only way I know this is because I got a notification from YouTube the other day saying that they had pulled one of the episodes off the internet. Why? because they said I shared medical misinformation. How about that? And I'm like, what? What the fuck did I say? I have no clue. And apparently it was like it was the triumphant return to recording. It was that episode. Well, it's not on YouTube anymore. Like they're like, oh, maybe you could fight this. Like, could I? Could I fight this? Like for what? Who the fuck cares? And then to top it off, medical misinformation. What could I have possibly said? What could I have said? Nothing. Amazing. It's just fucking amazing. Yet how many fucking RFK fucking junior videos are up there on YouTube? Probably fucking hundreds where he's saying shit that is blatantly false. But that's neither here nor there. He's the Secretary of Health and Human Services, David. Mr. Secretary to you. Yeah. He had a brain worm, you know. Yeah, that guy said he had a worm in his brain. He said that. Yep. And now he's in charge of, you know, health. Anyways, that's it. I'm on YouTube at, I think, just Complaints and Observations Podcast. I don't fucking know. I'm on Facebook, but fuck Facebook. I'm also on X, but I don't really go on X anymore because it's a bigger cesspool than it was before. That's pretty much it. 617-804-1557 if you or someone you know. If you or someone you love has a complaint, call Complaints and Observations 617-804-1557. Take care of yourselves. It's yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Uh, Listen, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta ta.